The most popular data analyst certificates, those are career traps. Yes, I'm talking about the ones everyone's telling you to get. Google, IBM, even those $10 Udemy knockoffs that promise you'll be job ready in 30 days. Because here's a stat that'll wake you up. Less than 10% of entry-level data analyst job postings actually list a certificate as a requirement. So while everyone else is collecting digital badges like Pokemon cards, the people that are actually getting hired are doing something completely different. By the end of the video, you're going to know exactly what that is. I'm going to expose the three worst certificates to avoid this year, the myths that are keeping you broke, and most importantly, what actually works when companies are desperate to fill these high-paying data analyst roles. But first, if this is your first time here, I'm Kadisha. 5 years ago, I was working warehouse shifts and delivering pizzas, making $8 an hour. Today, I lead a community of over 6,000 aspiring and current data professionals. And I've helped thousands of other career changers break into data analytics without going back to school and wasting money on courses that just don't work. And if you ever want to work with me one-on-one to land your first data role in the next 3 to 6 months, click the link in the description where we can start working together. Now, let me hit you with some real numbers that will make you question everything you've been told about breaking into data. Online courses have a completion rate of about 50% on average. Some drop below 7%. That means 85 to 93% of people who start these certificates never even finish them. And of those who do finish, still can't land interviews. Think about that for a second. You're competing in a pool where 9 out of 10 people can't even complete what they started. But here's the kicker. Even the ones who did are still struggling to get hired. Why? Because completion does not equal competence. I've been talking to hiring managers who tell me that they get hundreds of resumes with the same Google certificate listed. It's becoming background noise. They're not looking at your certificates anymore. They're looking at what you could actually bring to the table. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics projects data jobs will grow 36% in the next decade. That's massive growth. But companies aren't waiting around for these certificate holders. They're hiring people who can prove that they can do the work from day one. And here's something that really gets me fired up. I see people spending months and even years grinding through these same programs, posting their completion badges on LinkedIn, and then wondering why their inboxes are still empty. The market has moved on, but the advice has not. Comment below if you've ever paid for a certificate that actually did not get you hired, because I guarantee you're not alone, and I want you to know it's not your fault. You were just following bad advice. So, all right, let's get to the meat and potatoes. The three certificates that are wasting your time and money this year. And I'm not just going to tell you that they're bad. I'm going to show you exactly why so you can make better decisions with your time and money. So number one, the Google Data Analytics Certificate. Look, I'm not going to trash Google completely. The course is well structured, beginner friendly, and has brand recognition because it's Google, of course. And if you're starting from complete zero, it's not the worst place to begin. But where it falls apart is when it comes to actually getting hired. First, it's way too basic for actual job readiness. You'll learn some foundations, but you won't be prepared for the messy real world data that companies actually deal with. Let me paint you a picture. On the job, you'll get an Excel file with merged cells, inconsistent date formats, half the data missing, and that course does not prepare you for reality. Second problem, it teaches R as the primary programming language. R is a great language, especially for statistical analysis and academic research, but most entry level data analyst jobs want SQL, Tableau, and if a programming language, it would be Python. You're busy learning the wrong tool for the market that you're trying to enter. I've seen job postings that specifically ask for Python experience and candidates show up with R knowledge from the Google course. But here's a bigger issue. Over 1 million people have enrolled in this cert, and every other applicant has the same certificate. And when every other applicant has the same certificate, how exactly are you supposed to stand out? You're not differentiating yourself. You're just blending into a crowd of over 1 million other people. The capstone project are also too simplistic to follow the same templates that everyone else uses. I've seen hiring managers tell me that they can spot the Google cert project from a mile away because they all look the same. Same structure, same approach, and the same lack of creativity. And here's something that really bothers me. Real analysts don't get step-by-step tutorials. They get messy problems and have to figure out the solution themselves. Number two, the IBM Data Analyst Certificate. IBM's version is more technical than Google, and I'll give them credit for that. You'll get Python, you'll get SQL, you get visualization tools, but on paper, it does sound better. but it's not. It's 11 courses long. That's months of your life on content that doesn't even close the gap between learning and doing. You're spending so much of your time in tutorial mode that you've never developed the problem solving skills that you actually need to get hired. I've seen countless reviews from people who finished a cert and still felt completely unprepared for interviews. That's not a bug, that's just a feature. These certificates are designed to keep you enrolled and not necessarily get you hired. The longer you stay in these courses, the more money that they make, and your success is secondary to their revenue. The problem isn't the content quality. IBM knows your stuff, and so does Google. But the problem is that these certificates just teach you the tools and not necessarily the thinking, and it's not very applicable. And companies hire people who can think through problems, not just follow tutorials. All right, so let's destroy some common myths that's keeping you stuck. Because until you understand what's not working, you can't fix your approach. So, myth number one, certificates guarantee jobs. This is the biggest lie in the industry right now. Certificates don't guarantee anything except that you completed a course. Myth number two, big brand names equal high ROI. Even Google and IBM certificates are helpful introductions at best, but they're not job ready programs. They're just starting points that most people mistake for the finish line. Now, before I get into what actually works, I want to share something with you. McKinsey estimates that 30 to 60% of tasks in most jobs can be automated or significantly changed by AI by 2030. That's not some distant future, that's just 5 years away. For data analyst roles, the repetitive stuff is disappearing fast. Basic data cleaning, coding, AI can handle those things faster, better, and cheaper than humans alone. But here's what AI cannot do. It cannot understand the business context, and it can't ask the right questions, and it can't challenge assumptions. It can't communicate insights in a way that drives action, and it can't build relationships with stakeholders. Those human skills, they're actually becoming more valuable each day, not less. Certificates teaching you how to follow instructions and complete templates, they're actually holding you back, and they're preparing you for jobs that will not exist in 5 years. The people who are learning to think critically, solve complex problems, and communicate insights clearly, they're the ones building careers that AI will enhance and not replace. So, what actually does work? I'm going to break down a framework that actually gets people hired. This isn't theory, this is what I've seen to work for thousands of other career changers. Number one, skills over certificates. Master SQL, Python, visualizations, and statistics. Not just a basic, get good enough so you can handle real world problems that don't always have clear solutions. SQL is a non negotiable. You need to be comfortable with complex joins, subqueries, window functions, and CTEs. Most certificate programs barely scratch the surface of what you actually need to know. For Python, you want to understand how to clean data and automate pipelines. For data visualization, it's not just about making charts. It's about understanding when to use which chart type, how to design for your audience, and how to guide people to insights. Most people just create data art instead of data communication. And in statistics, you don't need a PhD, you just need to know descriptive statistics, correlation versus causation, and how to spot when the data is lying to you. Business decisions are made based on your analysis. If you get it wrong, people can lose money, and in some industries, even lose their life. Two, portfolio over paper. Real projects beat shiny certificates every single time. Show me a messy data set that you cleaned and analyzed. Show me insights that you discovered and decisions that you influenced. Your portfolio should tell a story, not just, hey, I just made a dashboard, but I identified a problem, I analyzed the data, I found insights, and I recommended actions that could save the company money. And make them real. Use actual business problems. Hiring managers can tell the difference between cookie cutter projects and real world problem solving. Next, mentorship and feedback. This is what's missing from every cheap course. You need someone who can tell you when your analysis is wrong, when your visualizations are confusing, and when your thinking is off track. Certificates can give you the content, but they don't give you the feedback. You can complete every module and still be making fundamental mistakes that will get you rejected in interviews. Find someone who's working in the field or a community that you can join, where you can get your work reviewed and tell you what employers are actually looking for. It's the difference between practicing in your room alone and training with a coach. Okay, so let's bring it home. If this opened your eyes at all to what's really happening in the data job market, please make sure you hit the like button so YouTube knows that this is the content worth showing to other people who may need to also hear the truth. And if you're ready to skip the certificate trap and build the skills that actually get you hired in today's job market, click the link in the description to learn how we can work together and land a data analyst role without wasting money on programs that don't work. Until next time, stop collecting badges and start building proof.